we can kind of do it as a group. Like we say, like somebody will wear number 12 this next season, but we will have multiple number 12s that can help lead and be in that role without wearing that number. So,
friends, welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by our friends at Specs. David Nuno here, the perfect ambassador for Specs, even though I don't drink alcohol. Today was all about Ryan Prager. Fantastic interview with Billy Liucci in there. And, of course, we had Ryan Prager on there. But let's find out what else was on there. Cade, what else?
Well, we had Olin Buchanan talking a little 24 and 24, number 22, Trey Watson.
Yeah.
And then we also had Billy Liucci at the end, giving his great insight on baseball, football. He did a little 24 and 24 as well. It's good stuff all around.
It was. What was your favorite part, Carson?
Ryan Prager, obviously.
What about Ryan Prager?
The interview that Billy Liucci and Ryan Prager brought to us.
How come you didn't give me credit for that?
You were there too.
Interesting.
Uber driver.
I was the Uber driver. I brought him here. Thanks, Carson. Last time on the show. By the way, Cade, can you let Emma say hi to the people at least every once in a while? She's working up front. She's waving, but you didn't even let her say hi.
Oh yeah, of course, Emma. You say hi to the people.
Hi.
Okay, that's it. This went awkwardly. All right, it's the rewind. Check it. Number 22 is the tight end, Trey Watson.
Trey Watson, transfer from Fresno State. What was his numbers last year? About 32, 33, 34 catches at Fresno State.
In 2023, he had 55 targets, 38 receptions, 378 receiving yards.
Now,
he had 4 touchdowns, which I believe would have made him like 3rd or 4th on A&M's roster for the record.
Well, let me throw this out. So
give it to me.
People look at 38 catches and they're like, that's all right, But you got to take into context that typically tight ends don't get as many opportunities. The tight end with the most catches last year in the SEC, if I'm not mistaken, was Rivaldo Fairweather of Auburn, who had 38.
Okay.
The tight end with the most receiving yardage last year was this guy from Ole Miss with the funny name, Caden Prescorn. He's the guy that and he had 30 catches for 449 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he's the guy that Durkin wanted to, with him split out, Durkin wanted to cover him with
Fidel Diggs.
Yep. So that's probably why I led the conference in tight ends. But the point I'm making is, I don't know if Trey Watson, I'm not going to say he's going to meet those numbers, but those numbers would be in line to the most productive tight ends in the SEC based on last year.
Couple things about it. First off, he's got a great relationship with Jalen Henderson. They played together, right? So there's that. Not that Jalen's going to be the starting quarterback, but that was a part of the conversation. Washington wanted this guy. He was committed to go to Washington until Kalen DeBoer decided to go to Alabama. Then he revisited the opportunity to play at A&M. He's big, 6'5", 245 pounds.
Yeah, looks like a tight. And we saw him in the spring game. He looked good, moves well. The things you're looking for in a tight end. Good size, able to move. Obviously has good hands or he wouldn't have that many catches.
Saw this note. His 4 touchdowns would have tied him actually second on A&M with Jake Johnson and Evan Stewart. So,
yeah,
there you go.
So, he's a productive guy. Now, are they going to throw the ball to him? Well, I would think this year, unless one of those or a couple of those receivers really break
Emerge,
out. I would think A&M will be looking for their tight ends quite a bit. And, here's a guy that's obviously shown he can play and be productive at the major college level.
Hey, let's do a little buy, sell, lease. Stephen, areas of the most improvement. I'm going to give you 3 areas. You give me the buy, sell, lease of the most improvement here in 2024. O-line, wide receiver, and DBs.
We saying the group that needs to have the best improvement?
No, the area of the most improvement. So not needs. Like, do you think this is if you were to put your money on it, which one of these would you buy as the area of the most improvement?
Well, I would start with not the offensive line. I think that's the biggest question mark. And then we said tight end. What was the other one?
Wide receiver and DBs.
I think DBs are going to be the group that's going to be the most improved. That's my expectation going into week 1 of those 3.
Okay. OB, buy, sell, lease. Areas of most improvement: O-line, wide receiver, DBs.
Yeah, I'm going to buy the DBs. I am.
Okay.
Like all the people coming in. Plus, there's young guys, especially in the secondary. Man, you put a freshman out there, you're asking for trouble. Give them a little more experience, and you'll see them make a big jump. So yeah, DB's number one. I'm buying.
Okay.
I'm
leasing.
I'm leasing the O-line.
Okay.
And I'm selling the receivers. Now that doesn't mean I don't think the receivers can be good, but in
the hierarchy,
in hierarchy, yes, and the way I'd rank it, I'd put the receivers third.
All right, I'll take devil's advocate there, and I'll lease the wide receiver group with, the transfer kid from La Tech. Then you have Noah Thomas, if he stays healthy. Ja'Day Walker's had some good moments. So I'm not saying we're lacking ability. There's definitely some moments in that group. And of course, Moose Muhammad's made some nice catches as well. But as an aggregate, I would say the biggest question mark I would sell is the offensive line. That is yet to be proven. And to OB's point, though, by the end of the year, I would not be shocked because of play calling, by getting guys an extra year of experience, and quite frankly, just, putting them in a position to succeed. I wouldn't be surprised if we sit here and say, hey, this is a group that we're buying. It's this offensive line. I hope that's true, but for me, I'm selling going into week one.
Well, I'm saying if you're ranking by today, where they are on a scale from 1 to 5 last year, I might say the offensive line was a 1, where I might say the receivers are a 2. Well, if the receivers go from a 2 to a 3 and the offensive line goes from 1 to a 3, the most improved is what? The offensive line.
Right. Steven, so
good point.
What if the O-line is what we buy at the end of the year? What does that then mean for this A&M offense?
Well, hopefully it means that you have a healthy Connor Wigman in week 12. That's number one. But you have 3 really good running backs, and for me, that would mean that we have. I would love to see 3 guys over 500 yards, but maybe even a couple 1,000-yard rushers. That would be unbelievable for this offense. And I know Colin Klein wants to be able to run the football, balance attack. That would mean we're going to have a good football team if we're doing those things, because I believe that we're going to get some plays in the pass game with Connor.
What do you think about the collection of talent that is coming back, but also that you've added?
Yeah, I mean, I think to be honest, I think it's kind of stupid. Like I didn't know a college baseball team could be this talented and everything. And I think that's an attest to the guys that were here for continuing to basically buy back in. And then also what Mike, JK, Caleb, Fox have been able to do, and finding the right guys for this program. Because I think everybody knows, yes, Texas A&M wants the best players, but Texas A&M needs the right player. Yep. It doesn't need just anybody. It needs the right person, the right player, the right all-around package.
Yeah, that's a big part, I think. And I think that carries to every. You mentioned earlier, I heard you talk about that 2011 women's basketball team. If it's the 98 football team, or and y'all's 2 teams that have gone to Omaha have been completely different, but there's a common theme in all of those things. And it is for someone that is coming back like you, that's an Aggie, to already recognize that. I think it's pretty.
Can you speak to maybe how much the university, because this was something we talked on the phone yesterday when you told me you were coming back. You wanted to come on here and you wanted to kind of say your piece about the role A&M has played, just the university. Yeah. And not just for you, but I think it's a massive role. It played a massive role in the impact this place has had on guys like Jace and Gavin and Sorrell. It was going to be really tough, whether it was professional baseball in your case or other schools in the transfer portal for those other guys. It's hard to walk away from this place. What has it meant to you? What does it mean for you to come back to school at Texas A&M?
Yeah, I mean, coming here 3 years ago, Texas A&M had 0 part basically in my family. Texas A&M was not a thought for us really growing up. But once baseball came into play and this place came calling, it was impossible to turn away. You could just tell from afar what it was all about. And then stepping on campus, it was by far the best decision of my life. And Texas A&M the last 3 years has been the best thing for me. It's been the best thing for my family that we've ever done. And just with how they welcome you with open arms, how they treat you when you're here. And I mean, just what it means even just outside of College Station. I think that's super, super important. And one of the big reasons for coming back was being able to finish that degree, because I mean, Texas A&M will be with you wherever you are, and I think all of our guys have recognized that and noticed that. So it's super special and something that you don't want to really give up. You want to cherish it as long as you can, and that was a big reason for being back in Aggie Land.
Hey, Nick Scorton, did you find the info that
no.
on?
So anyway, what was said to me about Scorton, as far as you didn't look up New Orleans Saints best defensive lineman of all time. I believe it's. But anyway, this is what the other scout said. Just thought of player comp for Scorton. It's Mario Williams. He said he's not trying to make it sound like he's the next number one pick. This is kind of the thing you do. But he said, right. But the combination of size and athleticism reminds me of Mario coming out of NC State.
Mm-hmm.
And these are guys, like, again, I always say when we talk about this, they have no association or affiliation with A&M. It's kind of like the things you heard about some of these guys at the SEC meetings, at SEC media days, talking about when they're talking about Connor Wigman or when they're talking about Mike Elko. They're not. It's not us sitting, you know, and we'll way more so than we no one would ever give us credit for. Try to keep it like realistic. I mean, I can go back to the days where people were laughing, not just from the outside, but here you're talking about Ryan Tannehill being a potential star quarterback, first-round draft pick. Talked about Von Miller, an egregious omission from him being a first-team All-Big 12 pick. And that made the rounds through rival fan bases. I mean, it's been going on forever. But we will tell it like it is, but not people that have no ties to A&M. They're like, there's no inherent bias that you and I or anybody else that gets up here walks around and doesn't even acknowledge exists, but surely on some level has to. But when those people from the outside start talking, it's like, you can get biased by familiarity. You go watch A&M play every day and you see certain guys kind of rising up. You're watching them every day. You're not watching Alabama's D-line every day. You're not watching Georgia. You're not watching Oklahoma, LSU, Texas, Florida, whoever. This is in the last 2 weeks. For whatever reason, I've gotten 3-4 separate scouts, plus, what Nagy posted and was saying, talking about just absolutely raving about Nick Scorton.
Ammo, what do the people need to do?
Like, comment, subscribe.
How come I couldn't hear you?
They need to like, comment, subscribe, and then share.
You got so nervous when I said that. Your eyes went, oh no.
I wasn't prepared.
All right, we'll see you next time.